um, whatever situation I find myself in. I don't want to see myself like relating to that one sort of individual. There's people who do this all the time on Craigslist, who they may have had like a relationship or might have been married to, like, somebody, and for whatever reason, they walked out on him, and they sort of, not to say that they're stalkers, but they might as well be, because they go on Craigslist and sort of, I know this isn't the definition of catfish, but they play the role of their wife, as far as, like, maybe liking it rough, or I have this fantasy of someone breaking into my house and raping me, and the dude, gives the address and personal information, so people who are up, to the challenge, basically, and this is like, real, this stuff makes the news, or at least, like, the wife, or the victim, speaks out about their experience. So, I only mention that story because it was kind of a pun on all the tangents I take when trying to make one point, like the point I tried to make in the last video. So, I mean, something just popped and kind of distracted me. But I was talking about, and I mentioned this before, I'll just cut to the chase. Like, there was different, like, costume changes, and sometimes you go to a play knowing exactly what you'll probably see. Like, if I were to go to Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'm not going to be like, like, even best example, I went to this, I'll give a shout out to this group, Brooklyn Wildlife. I never heard of Brooklyn Wildlife, but they had this show that they did in Chinatown, and I've been to my fair share of gallery openings, but I knew it was going to be like, I mean, I'm not shocked when I go to some galleries and I see like nudity, and I mean, sometimes, like, it may be on a grander scale than others. There's, like, other, like, respectable places that may just show fine art. I sometimes, if you go to a place like Paris, that's part of their culture. You don't even have to go to one of their museums to, like, see that. I actually was surprised. You see this, like, you don't see this too much in Times Square, but I mean, you do see, like, the PETA ads, and I was about to get on the Greyhound bus to Pennsylvania, and I see this billboard for, it wasn't for PETA, it was Heidi Klum, and I forgot what the business she was advertising, but she was pretty much naked. I mean, the stuff she had to cover up, she covered up, but other than that, the caption read, like, like, it was some reference to, like, what she played with in her bathtub, and there was a rubber ducky, and of course that's not the first thing that comes to mind. You just happen to see it, and basically see how they were able to get away with putting that billboard up on 42nd Street. So shit, I was talking about costumes. Yeah, I mentioned this one art show put together by Brooklyn Wildlife, and I knew there was stuff on the wall, and I mean, there's places I've been to where there's even video where I don't have to go further than the internet connection to see that. But yeah, I mentioned I assume there were going to be at least like one or two, like, pieces of performance art where the person was going to do it naked, and I didn't expect to go into like how I spent, like, last Saturday night, on my first Saturday night here, but it's cool. I took enough video. If you go on YouTube, you can see some clips that I was able to put on here. There are more clips that I wasn't able to put on here that I had to put on Daily Motion. But yeah, I was walking, the bottom line is I was walking into that situation, and like I mentioned before, either like a few days ago. There was a point where I wanted to leave because, like, the first person I saw got naked was a dude. Um, the second performer that I saw, like, play the guitar, he said he wasn't gonna get naked, but he did. The dude, Chris Carr, I think is his name, he organized it and sort of led by example and got naked. And I know there was like maybe like one or two other dudes who got naked that night too. And it got to a point in the night where if I saw like one more dick, I was out of there. Or what I was really saying was, if it got like to a certain point of the night and all I saw was like naked dudes, I was going to, like, eventually call it a night early. And I did mention another video. I know there is this like the first time I start to see chicks getting naked. This dude, he's known for taking Polaroid shots, even though I learned that night Polaroid is no more, but there's another company that you can still buy Polaroids from, and I'm sure you have no problem finding cameras, eBay or flea markets. But yeah, that's when I started to, after seeing like two of the girls were performers. It's funny how I'll end this video talking about one chick because it'll provide a perfect segue for the other girl I was supposed to talk about. Not to get into the first two chicks that, one of them, she just like had this deal where her performance art was wrapping herself in clear like tape or packing tape and then like taking herself out of it. And the other girl, she dealt with fire and ended up liking her Facebook page or her fan page. And but there might have been, like, I can't think of another girl who like got naked, or if I did, I didn't like really notice. I can probably take a look at the pictures and but anyway, the last chick that I did notice that got naked was the one thing that made her stand out initially. I mean, she wasn't like naked the whole night, obviously. She, like, you'll see a lot of not Asian girls, but a lot of like girls who's into that emo punk, like girls whose prerogative is to like dye their hair, or at the very least, like, I don't know if you call it stripes, or what I'm trying to say is like, half of it may be their natural hair and the other half of it is like dyed. And this girl, like, she could pass for being in her 20s. Right now, every time I think about being in my 30s, it's a gift and a curse. That's a topic for another video. But what I'm trying to get at is, not very often, like, if I see a chick and, like, Fantasy Fest, perfect example, if I see like someone who has like strands, not dyed, but like strands of gray hair, they may have dyed their hair and then, like, the gray hair started coming back. It was like, it's not really, I mean, they're obviously like at least in their 40s or 50s. What I'm trying to say is, like, they, to one extent or the other, they have no choice as far as, like, how their hair looks. Rarely do I see women, Asian, white, or otherwise, look like they're in their 20s or 30s and dye their hair like, gray, or at least strands of gray. I've seen women who've dyed their hair sort of like metallic silver. What I'm trying to say is, like, this is something I've never seen before. Like a chick who's like trying to pull off her sexy sort of like Asian yellow fever, what's the word I'm looking for? Presence, with appearing to be older, or at first glance, and then you see, okay, she's obviously like not in her 40s, but yeah. I'll end it with the last thing I did see. So I didn't expect for her to like lose her clothes that night, but all I know is I was at one side of the room, and then I just see like a tattoo, and I I wasn't able to piece all the pictures together, but I'm pretty sure like someone can relate to being in a setting and not really expecting to see somebody get naked, and then not only do they see the goods, but they don't disappoint. And I'll end it with something that I can give myself a pat on the back with, because there was a big difference between like what I saw and what I like took pictures with on my camera. Like I just wasn't going to stand there playing the perv, watching her dance with this other naked dude. And whenever I saw like like a TNA shot, or I mean, what I did get with is as she was dancing with some other dude, it was easier to get a picture of her ass and like tattoos than everything else. But I wasn't trying to just like sit there and like perfectly time exactly what I wanted to get, because it wasn't that type of I mean, even if it was that type of party, maybe I would, like if it was like a swingers like deal, then maybe, or just people who like I mean, not to say that this event didn't cater to exhibitionists, but if I learned one thing from I'm trying to think of I mean, there's times where, okay, yeah, anytime I go to like Fantasy Fest, that's like the best sort of there's other examples I can give, but I've come to like ask the permission of like the woman if I can like take their picture. If I were to done that, if I would have done that back in Mardi Gras 2009, the intention might have been simply just to like get their attention, or at least try to talk to them. But yeah, that's a whole nother like story, or like something I could take up 20 minutes with, at least if I so choose. But I've been in enough situations to where like I mean, part of me is like, okay, you can't put yourself in that position and expect someone to take your picture. But I mean, even myself, it's hard to think of an example. But like everyone can probably think of a situation where someone is like taking pictures of them, and there's like a line that they've crossed. The only thing I can think of offhand is just I went with like a friend of the family and his mom. Actually, it's the other way around, but it's anyway. My mom's friend, I'll say that. We went to like we were on vacation. We were swimming with the whales, and like I kind of saw it this Saturday. I had another family member, and it's just what I'm trying to say is there comes a point where like you don't want to take any more pictures. You don't want to pose for any more pictures. You don't want like people to take pictures of you. It's I know for women it's probably like they can relate easier to it than men, but I'll just end it on this. Like I was giving myself a pat on the back, because I mean, not that there was a line, but sometimes you gotta like say to yourself, like there may not be a line here, but or to the extent where I may cross it, because that's another thing that's a whole conversation by itself. But so yeah, one thing I've learned is to try to not cross that line. Being whether it's to like take a picture of someone who decided to get naked and join the festivities of what was going on around them, or any other setting or festival or parade, and just I like to think of like shit that's hit the fan in the past, and say to myself, okay, this is like what I'm not going to do anymore, and like it's not that I'm getting paid for these pictures. Like best case scenario, like I created a Tumblr page, so like either way, I rather feel like more comfortable like being able to look in the mirror at night and go to bed, as opposed to like knowing what I want and like going after it because typically, if you don't know that boundary, then basically there's places for people, and yeah, that's kind of like, I hate to end it on a dark note, but I'm gonna wrap this up momentarily in the next video.